Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, here we go. Hey, everybody. This is Chad Jordan. I'm the Director of Marketing, which my next guest is really thrilled about, and just can't believe she's sitting down with the Director of Marketing at Sport Clips. This is what she wants to be when she grows up, by the way. But at any rate, we have a very special episode today. We are continuing our Haircuts with Heart series, and I'm physically sitting at the headquarters for St. Baldrick's Foundation, and we have a very, very special guest today who I was given a hard time. I drove 4 hours down here to be with her today, so she better make this a good episode. So, young lady, why don't you please introduce yourself to our listening audience? What is your name?
I'm Gabby Galarneau.
Gabby, and she promised to me before this podcast started that she would live up to her name, Gabby, and that she would do all the talking, and that people are sick of hearing me talk, and they want to hear her. Gabby, how old are you?
I'm 14.
You're 14 years old, and she is a twin. She has an annoying twin brother, and his name, again, is Tommy, and then she's got an older brother and sister, and who are they?
My older sister is Hope, and then my older brother is Joey.
My older brother is Joey. Joey, feel free to come home and do some laundry during school at San Diego State. Mom says you're welcome anytime. That's just a free plug. So let's talk to you. You are an honored kid of St. Baldrick's, and your family's an honored family. What do you think that means to be an honored kid or honored family at St. Baldrick's? Give me your understanding of that.
My understanding is that it means that I get to speak up for kids with cancer who can't right now, or like don't really put it out there like as much as like I would.
Mm-hmm.
So my family will speak about it whenever to whoever will listen.
Why are you so special? Why do they pick you? Obviously, is it because you're prettier than everybody or smarter? Why do you think they picked you?
I go to a lot, like anything I can that involves childhood cancer, I go to. Like, I went to an event with St. Baldrick's, and what was the thing that we went to? I don't know. We just went somewhere.
1 hour, 1 child. 1 hour, 1 child.
Yeah, 1 hour, 1 child.
1 hour, 1 child. What was that?
Fundraising event.
Okay.
Fundraising event.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, so when I first got sick, my mom started, well, she already had an Instagram, but then when I got sick, she used it a lot to like give updates about me and everything. And a lot of people just started following my story because there's a community, like we've learned that with kids who have cancer, their parents a lot, they post about their kids to give updates, because a lot of families have a child with cancer, but you don't know that until you're part of the community or you have a page. So there's a lot of pages that give updates about kids. We know a couple. So we know AJ, we've gotten to know him from Children's
Hospital
yeah,
in
Children's
LA?
Hospital.
Okay. AJ's what? How old is he?
I think he's 11.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's 11 or 12.
And you met him there while you were getting treated?
Yeah, I think our moms met through Instagram.
Really?
Then,
wow.
Yeah, we see him.
It's like a secret club, once you have a kid with
You
cancer.
can tell them what the followers, what your story did to the followers, like the number.
It went from like 100, and now it's like 12 or 13,000.
Whoa. Followers?
Yeah.
On your Instagram? Man, I'm going to have to get your autograph after this. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why they picked you, because you're so popular. Well, here's what I want to talk to you about, okay? Because the people that are listening to this, a lot of them work for Sport Clips or cut hair at a Sport Clips location around the country, stuff like that, and then do Brave the Shave events or give money to St. Baldrick's. And so I like to highlight why St. Baldrick is so important, and you are a perfect representative of obviously being an honored kid with an honored family and Instagram famous, as we like to say. But I wanted to connect a person with the cause. I want a face. I can't think of a better face than your 14-year-old face to go with why it matters that so many Sport Clips people get involved with this. So let's talk a little bit about before you got diagnosed. How you were starting? Was it 6th or 7th grade?
8th grade.
8th grade. Okay, so you're starting 8th grade. You in your school, is it 7th and 8th grade? Was your a junior high
it
or
was
what?
kinder to 8th.
Kinder to 8th. Oh, so you're like big girl on campus. You're gonna rule that place that year. You're the queen. Everybody's bowing down to you when you're walking through the halls, of course. What happens? How does your school year start, and then you get diagnosed? Like, walk me through exactly what was going on.
Okay, so we were really excited to be in 8th grade because that was like the final year. We get to graduate.
Yep.
We get to get out of the place.
Mm-hmm.
So
Finally.
So the year starts out. It's really good. It's the first year that we already you get progress reports and report cards, and it was the year that I was finally getting like all A's.
Okay, honor roll.
Yeah, I was finally getting all A's, and then I noticed the very beginning of the school year, like to the T, that my knee was stiff. It was very stiff. So when I sat down and I got up, I would have to keep my legs straight for like a couple minutes because it was stiff.
Are you one of these 8th grade girls that's like taller than all the boys?
No, I was one of the shortest.
Were you? Okay, all right. But you had just gone through.
Yeah, for my family, I was like pretty tall.
Okay, you're tall. You have a bunch of shorties like my family.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're towering over your brother, your older brother, Tommy.
My twin brother Tommy, who's always been taller than me. I was like a couple inches taller than him, and like a couple more inches taller than my sister.
Your older sister,
my older sister.
Uh-huh.
And
then, you notice there's stiffness.
Yeah, they're stiff. And then every single day, like one day it was just pain and not stiffness, but we thought it was growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like everybody thought it was growing pains because I had a growth spurt, and we couldn't pinpoint it to anything else. My older brother had like growing pains when he had a growth spurt, so we just
it was
chalked
natural
it
to
up
assume. Yeah.
So then every day it got a little bit worse and worse and worse and worse, and then my teacher would be like, okay, like, don't you, like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And even the PE teacher was like, you can like sit out, you don't have to do PE. If
What, were you crying during
No,
PE, or are you just
never-
grimacing in pain?
No,
Or
I would just like, I limped, like, it was a really odd limp. Like, my mom even said that it looked like I was limping with the wrong leg because I was babying it so much. And, like, the PE teacher was like, if you can't do it, then don't do it. So then, like, because every day it got worse. And then the last day I went to school, it was the Halloween parade. And there's a parade and everyone goes around in their costumes.
hold on, what did you dress up as?
I was one of the Heathers from the musical Heathers.
Okay.
And
Did anybody know what you were?
yeah.
All right.
My
Okay.
friend.
Okay, your one friend who also dressed up as the other Heather or something?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Totally weird. So it was the Halloween parade, and then someone like accidentally flat tired me,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
like my knee just like kind of almost gave out, like I almost tripped, and it hurt so bad. So at my booth, I had because there was games at my booth, I had to sit down, and so when everyone was going back up to the classroom, it took me like 15 minutes to get to from the cafeteria to the classroom because it hurt so bad. And like so that was like a Friday, and then a Monday, my dad took me to the doctors, and because it was hurting so bad, so my mom scheduled an appointment, and so they took x-rays and everything, but like that was the last day that I could like walk because I couldn't walk. And then when we got home from the doctors, we had crutches in the garage, and so my dad gave me the crutches, and like I was using the crutches, but I couldn't even like stand. And my dad was like, "You're using crutches, oh, like it shouldn't hurt, but it still hurt." So he
because of the weight, the little bit of weight you were put on your
Yeah.
leg was too much, too intense, so you
and
couldn't even stand
so
up with
he
that.
like almost kind of carried me in, and then the next day, me and my brother had the day off because it was like parent-teacher conferences or something. But my mom was driving my sister to school on Halloween, and she got a call from my pediatrician, and she was like, "I'm gonna need you to like pack a bag for like playing on stage like 4 to 5 days. Like you need to go down to the emergency room like at Children's. We have a team like assembled there." And my mom was like, "I don't like."
Telling her all that over the phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she was like, "What for?" And they're like, "We think Gabby has cancer." So my mom goes, wakes me up. She tells.
Wait, your mom didn't crash the car when she heard that? And
No.
she was able to keep driving? Okay.
So my mom goes home. I don't know if my brother was already up or she woke him up and told him, and then they woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
And like the first thing that like she said that, and then she was like, "But it's fine. We're gonna like we're gonna fight it. Like it's like we're gonna get through it. It's not." So we went to.
Did you believe your mom when she said that?
I did. So we went to
That's cool.
the emergency room, and they did. So for the X-rays, they were like, "We still not sure," but they knew.
Yeah.
They were sure. So they did a biopsy, and it was confirmed.
And where is it? It was in your hip or your leg or
it was on
your
my
knee?
left knee.
Your knee, your left knee.
My
Okay.
left knee, and so they confirmed that it was osteosarcoma, and they did more X-rays.
What is it called?
Osteosarcoma. It's a bone cancer.
Osteosarcoma.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they did more X-rays and MRIs and stuff, and they saw that it already metastasized, so it had spread to my
What
lungs.
is that? Okay, so that means it spread somewhere beside.
Yeah.
So it went from your knee to your lungs.
Yes,
Wow.
that's very
Okay.
common if it does metastasize.
Okay.
Metastasize to your lungs. So they don't have stages in osteosarcoma. So I was diagnosed with aggressive metastatic osteosarcoma, but if it was a stage, it would have been stage 4. So they had a plan. It was 18 rounds of chemotherapy, 3 drugs, and
18 rounds means
Yeah.
what? 18 days, 18 weeks?
18. I don't want a cycle. Is it
Mhm.
cycle?
It was 18 rounds with 32 infusions of chemo.
18
Okay.
rounds, 32 infusions of chemotherapy.
And obviously not all at once.
No, it was like, it'd be, so for
3 weeks in a
one
row.
of them, it was methotrexate, which would be, we would stay like 4 to 5 days, and then we'd go home for like 2 to 4 days, and then come back and have doxorubicin and cisplatin, which is 2 other drugs, and then we'd go home, and then for that we'd have like a 3-week break. But during those 3 weeks, I'd get like really bad side effects, like throat sores, which would cause an infection and a fever. So I'd have to go back and stay at the hospital.
Not for treatment, but for the side effects.
Which, for the throat sores, they didn't have any medicine for it. They just had to wait till my platelet count went up, which would be like 4 days to like a week.
And does it feel like a bad sore throat?
No,
or
I couldn't even like swallow my own spit. I couldn't drink, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything. So I was just
So you're
like,
having to have a food tube put down your throat?
No, I didn't have that, because they put me on a couple of appetite
Oh,
stimulants.
uh-huh.
So I was put on a couple of them, and then and that worked really well. There was nothing wrong. I kept weight on. They didn't have a problem with that. But for the plan, it was 18 rounds, but after the 7th round, we were going to do a limb salvage surgery. So they were going to take out my knee and 6 inches of my femur and replace it with titanium. But after the 3rd round of chemo, they did like another MRI because it was still hurting so bad. Because they said like once I started chemo, the pain would like gradually go away because the tumor would shrink. But it was not going away, so they did an MRI, and it looked like it had grown. So after the 3rd round of chemo on December 16th, 2017, they did the limb salvage surgery, and
So, and they literally took your knee away and your femur.
And they replaced it with titanium. And when they got in there, they saw that the tumor, it didn't like grow, but it was hemorrhaging. So that's what caused all the pain. And that's what that's what was causing all the pain. That's why it wasn't like feeling like it was getting any better. Thankfully, they got it all out. It was clean margins, so there's nothing left. And then they had to keep doing the rest of the chemo so it would get out, so it would clear my lungs. So.
At what point did your hair start falling
about
out?
10 days after the first round of chemo.
So right away.
I didn't.
Did you shave your head, just say, or did you wait for it to fall?
It started. We didn't know how long I had till it started falling out. So when it did start falling out, it was like we had cut my hair like short so that because we knew it would fall out.
And you had really long hair before this, right?
I had long hair, and then I donated it. So I cut it and donated it, and then when it started falling out, it was everywhere. Like it was everywhere. We didn't know how long, so it was like 10 days, and then.
And do you have a dog or anything at home?
Yeah.
So could you blame it like maybe your dog was shedding or no?
It was like I would turn my head and it would just fall out.
Yeah.
So then when we got home from that round, we shaved it. But when I first saw my oncologist, she was telling us all the side effects, like every single one that I could get. Like there's 2% chance you could get leukemia from this drug, and there's heart defects and hearing loss and all these things. And like then she was like, oh, and this one's like hardest for like most people like your age, like you will lose your hair. And I was like, I really don't care.
Yeah, that was the least of your problems,
yeah, I
right?
really didn't
that's
care.
Good.
A lot of kids do, but it was hair. It was gonna grow back. It wasn't a big deal. But when it first started falling out, it was a big shocker. Like I was really shocked because I thought I had more time.
Yeah.
So I got upset, but then like we shaved it. It was fine.
Anybody else in your family shave their head or?
My dad's bald.
So he beat you to it.
Yeah.
So.
But my brother wanted to shave his head, but I told him, he had buzz cuts before, and I knew what he looked like, so I was just like, don't.
Save us all.
Yeah,
keep your hair.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, I don't even know if his school, allows him to, just shave their head. I have no clue.
Might have made a special exception for you guys.
but,
Who knows? But.
So
now you have the surgery.
Yeah, I have the surgery.
For the knee and the femur, and now you're like bionic woman, superhero, okay.
And so then I just continued with my chemo,
and now you're had you been in a wheelchair already?
Yes, I was in a wheelchair from basically the first time we got to the hospital.
Because it's so painful just to try to walk, okay.
And then till the end of chemo, and then
was the pain more intense? Was it just painful when you tried to stand, or did you always were you always in pain?
Always in pain.
Oh, okay.
I slept. I forgot I did this, but then I looked at a picture. I would sleep a certain way because I couldn't put any weight on it, or else it hurt more than I already did. So I slept a certain way. I did things a certain way. I was asleep as much as I could be because when I was asleep, I didn't feel anything. So I was asleep, and then.
Had you ever been like a soccer player or tennis or anything?
I did softball.
Softball.
I did a lot of sports, but not all at the same time because I didn't like any of them. So I just stopped doing them because I didn't like any of them. But I did softball, and I don't think I'm gonna do that again, just because I can't do any contact sports because of my leg, because of my leg. So, and then like in softball you have to slide. I'm pretty sure I still could, but I wouldn't. I don't want to. And then certain exercises I can't do because of my heart, because one of the chemo drugs, it affects your heart, so I can't do like wall sits or things that put a strain on my heart. And then one of the side effects from the cisplatin drug that I had was hearing loss. So my left ear is a lot worse than my right ear, but they both still have hearing loss.
Oh, I sat on the wrong side. I should have been over there, but I don't like the camera getting me from that side, so that's why I'm sitting over here. So I'm just going to talk up a little louder then. Is that all right?
Yeah.
How noticeable is the hearing loss?
Like if you're in
like when your mom calls you to do chores, you can't hear her now.
She doesn't wear her hearing aids.
Oh, okay.
I have hearing aids. I don't really wear them because like I don't like them. And then also we'll be at a restaurant and like you can like hear everything, so you can hear like
it's magnified.
Yeah, you can hear like plates on. You can hear like forks on
people
plates.
chewing. The next table. Somebody picking their nose. You can hear them scratching the inside of the nose.
Yeah, it was like really loud. So I don't know. I'll probably wear them like when my hair grows out more.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I don't really know. But during chemo, I didn't go outside my room like ever. I didn't go
at school or at the hospital. I mean, at home or okay.
At the hospital. I didn't go out of my room. I would stay in my room.
But why? Why wouldn't you go? Were you?
I was always tired.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not.
It wasn't that you were too cool for all the other kids, right?
No,
okay.
Attitude.
You're like, I got 13,000 followers on Instagram. I'm not gonna go out there with those common people.
I was never a big people person either. So, I get along with them, but I just.
You like being by yourself.
Yeah.
We call that an introvert. Yeah.
So I wouldn't go to the cafeteria, and every single time I would never eat the hospital food. It was so disgusting. It wasn't good. So I'd send my
You're
mom.
You're more than allowed to say that. That's fine.
I would send my mom out on to get me food every single day.
From where? What sounded good?
Every time it was different.
Okay. You had different cravings.
Yeah. So at first it was like McDonald's all the time.
Over In-N-Out?
I didn't.
Okay. All right. That's fine. They're not sponsoring this podcast, so it doesn't matter.
At first it was In-N-Out, and then it was like, I think it was Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
Baja Fresh, and
Togo.
then it was Togo's. It was Fat Burger. It was Panda Express. It was Chick-fil-A.
Oh, of course.
It was pizza. It was.
Yeah. Okay. And are your throat sores better at this point? Now that you're able to.
They don't come.
Okay.
But the oncologist said, like, you see, like, online where it's like sugar, like, it feeds cancer. My oncologist was like, eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just eat whatever, as long as you're eating. I really don't care what you eat.
Nice. So, that's my kind of oncologist.
So,
oncologist of the year.
So I just eat whatever. And she was like, whatever she wants, you get her. So I'd be like, oh, I want frozen yogurt. And then go get 2 frozen yogurt.
So was mom like your Uber driver bringing you food, and that's kind of what she was doing?
Yeah. She was like,
was anybody spending the night with you in the hospital?
My mom was.
Your
Every
mom?
single night she was with me. And then on the weekends, my siblings and my dad would come and visit me.
What about your dogs?
No.
No, really?
There were therapy dogs at the hospital, and besides my couple of favorite nurses,
Were dogs? Well, that's a new career path for some.
Besides my
dogs.
couple of favorite nurses, the dogs, I love the dogs. We didn't know that I had
besides
dogs.
your okay.
Yeah. I love dogs. We didn't know I had dogs, and then one day, like Jasper, it was this little Cocker Spaniel.
Oh yeah.
He was the first dog. They knocked on the door. They were like, "Do you want a dog in the room?" And I was like,
Oh yes.
Yes.
I didn't know that was an option.
"Yeah." So they came in, and then like when you get a dog, you don't like feel, and it's like all the pain goes away. Like
All the
if
endorphins rush your body, and you're
Yeah,
super
it
excited
just-
because of.
Yeah, like just the dog. Like
Mm-hmm.
it
It's
was,
a real thing.
yeah,
Dog
I've
therapy.
There's over 125 dogs in the program, and I've met over 80.
How many
dogs.
do you know their names of?
I know all.
You
of
know
them.
all of them. Okay.
Like there'll be a dog in the hallway, and I'll be like, oh, that's.
You could just hear the way it was walking.
No, I'll just look at it.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be like, my mom will be like, which one is that? I'm like, oh, that's Cooper or
Mhm.
something. And they have dog cards, so they're like trading cards.
Oh.
So it'll have a picture of the dog, their name, where like when they were adopted, they were born, and then like facts about them. And
What was your favorite dog? Or
I like.
Can you not say?
No, I have a couple favorites.
Okay.
My favorite is probably Camper. Camper's a golden retriever,
Oh yeah.
and she is super sweet.
Mm-hmm.
She loves me. Whenever she saw me, she'd get really excited
Mhm.
and just knew who I was. And then a lot of them were golden, so it was
Mhm.
like Camper, Roxy, Presley, they were goldens. Blondie, she was like a white golden. I don't even like in English.
Mhm.
I don't know what it's called. And then Willow and Gordon, which are Newfoundlands. So Gordon is 180 pounds.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then Willow is 100.
That weighs more than me. Haha. Just kidding.
Willow is 100 and I think 35 pounds. And there were a couple of those.
And what were they allowed on your bed?
Yes.
These big old dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
There was little Pitbull.
Really?
Yeah, there were a couple.
Pitbull therapy dogs.
They were
Love it.
the sweetest. So
Mhm.
there's this little one. He has like the biggest head and like the smallest body.
Mhm.
Handsome James Ferdinand. That was his name.
That's his name?
Yeah, his name. So I really like the dogs.
Is that what? So, because you're not going out and meeting people.
No.
No.
So the dogs are coming to you.
Yeah. And whenever the nurses would see a dog, they knew that I was like
Okay.
the dog person, that
Yeah.
I had to have the dog.
Mhm.
So they just like see a tail and then go running after the dog. I feel like you have to go in that room.
They assigned the dog to you first.
Yeah.
When do you start to get to meet some of the other kids? Because
Um,
you're on a pediatric ward, level ward area of the
the fourth
hospital.
floor.
Fourth floor.
So
Okay.
children's is all children.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Huh? That's why they call it children's.
So there's
hospital.
like,
Oh, wait.
I think the fifth floor is like infectious disease, but the fourth floor.
Fourth floor is a cool floor. That's what I meant to say.
Fourth
You were on the
floor.
coolest, hippest floor.
Fourth floor is the cancer ward.
Okay.
And the first room that I was in was like a shared room. So they have like shared rooms where it's like two families, which I hated.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I hated it
Yeah.
so much. I had like four. I was in like 4 shared rooms because they knew not to put me in
Yeah.
the shared room.
We already established you're an introvert.
Yeah.
You're not a people
And then,
person,
like,
so you want
I
to be
would
by
always-
yourself.
I'd always get with like the worst people, like too. Like I'd get with like the babies.
Uh-huh.
Or, like,
Oh, babies are the worst. I
Yeah,
agree.
they would cry all.
Worst
the time.
roommates.
So like whenever they could see a free room, they would move me.
Yeah.
Because I knew I'm not
Mhm.
gonna put up with
Mhm.
it. So.
She made a name for herself.
Yeah, exactly. Trauma queen.
At first, the nurses did not like me
Yeah.
because I
Oh,
would
I'm
just
sure
like.
that's not true.
It's very
Yeah,
true.
okay. They sent you a card saying we do not like you.
No, it's just I was a handful.
Yeah.
Like, I would yell at them. I don't remember this, because a lot of it I don't remember.
Yeah.
But some of my favorite nurses right now, they'd be like, you would kick and you would scream and you'd hit and you'd.
Wow.
But
And
I
you
don't-
can't believe that about yourself. It doesn't sound like you, right?
I don't know. Because I was on so many pain meds and
Right.
on so much medication.
You weren't yourself.
Yeah, I wasn't happy. I didn't like it. So, but then like after the surgery, I the physical therapist that came in after my surgery,
Yeah, you
did
threw a
not-
fit, huh?
I did not like her. So
How soon after the surgery did they want you to do physical therapy?
I think it was like a day after.
Didn't want her out of bed.
Okay.
It was super fun.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody, even your mom, the physical therapist, you, just having a party.
I was so mad at the physical therapist, and then I got a new one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like her.
Mm-hmm.
She was fine, but
you just weren't in a good place to feel it at that time.
yeah, she was fine, but she asked my mom and my aunt if like, should I do like tough love or be sweet, and they said tough love. And so she was like,
way to go, Mom. And what's your aunt's name so we can make sure to send her a thank you.
So
Okay.
So they were like, yeah, give her tough love. Like,
Wow.
just
No,
like,
don't baby her.
just keep pushing at her.
Okay.
And then I would get really mad.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a new physical therapist
Mm-hmm.
that would come in, and if I didn't feel well, then this.
And what was she trying to get you to do?
Just like kind of adapt to like, so like, cause I get tired. I still get tired really easily, but like use like how to get up the stairs and like use the
With crutches?
Yeah, I didn't use crutches, but I used a walker because
Okay.
it was just easier. But
It
then
was one of those old people walkers that had the tennis balls on the front of it?
we put tennis
Okay.
balls on it because it would like scrape against the cement. Yeah, it was awful. So, but then after I finished chemo, everything, it was about 3 weeks after I finished chemo. It was the first day of school. Well, I do online school because I'm not walking yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I met with the teacher, and so because you have to like meet with the teacher, so I met with him, and then I got home, and I had tried to ride my bike a couple times.
Wow.
But because I can bend my leg, because I could bend my leg a lot, so like doing stuff that would involve bending leg didn't matter. Like I could do whatever, but it was straightening the leg that I had a lot of trouble with.
Is that something you had really missed, getting to ride your bike? Or did you just want to try it?
I just wanted to try
Okay.
it. So I got on, I was riding it, everything was fine. I stopped. Like I was stopped on the bike, and I hesitated which foot to put down.
Oh,
And I fell over.
Did you fall on your left side?
Yes.
Oh, well that wasn't...
broke.
No, you broke something?
I broke, I dislocated my elbow.
Oh my
I
gosh.
fractured the
Can't take you
head of
anywhere.
my elbow.
Oh.
And I fractured my tibia.
Who's there watching and seeing all this happen? Okay, your mom. Boy, she's been there for everything.
And so
What kind of check are you gonna write your mom when you're a successful? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a pediatric nurse.
Oh, okay, so then they make all the money. So when you're a millionaire from being a pediatric nurse, you're gonna have to write your mom a really big check, just so you know.
So we went to the nearest ER, and then they sent us over to Children's, and thankfully I was put on the 4th floor. So like they didn't put me on the regular floor; they put me on the 4th floor.
Are you still undergoing chemo and all that
No.
other stuff at this point?
Chemo's done.
Okay.
But you broke
No,
your bones because
but
of
no.
chemo.
Yeah, I broke, like, if I would have just fallen over, like, on say it was my brother that fell over, nothing would have
Right,
happened. He'd
right,
probably
but your
get,
bones were
Yeah.
were weaker because of the
So,
chemo that you'd been
yeah,
on.
all my bones were, like, really brittle.
Yeah.
So I'd fall, and then it would
Bird
break.
bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we found actually happens a lot
Mhm.
for some, like, my mom was talking to a couple people, and they were like, yeah, he broke, like, his ankle, or, like, they would break something, like, after chemo, and it was really common. But the nurses, they saw my name on, like, the list of kids, and they were like, no,
No,
like, she's
what's
not,
she doing back here?
She's not back here.
Must be somebody else with that name.
Yes, they would pop their head and be like, what did you do? Why are you back? You just missed us so much.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So, have you ridden your bike since?
no.
Okay, Mom says no more of that. I thought maybe Mom followed you with like a pillow, and
No.
if you started to fall, she'd
Since
put it under
I-
you or something.
Since I dislocated my elbow, it took a while to heal. Like,
And that's all on your left side?
Yeah.
Which had hurt worse? The cancer, the tumor?
Oh, the tumor
Or-
hurt. So, I have like, the thing that hurt the worst was probably was my tumor, and then it was the throat sores. and then it was my broken elbow, and then it was like a whole bunch of other things, and then it was my fractured, like, because that didn't hurt at all. It was just my elbow. And
you didn't mess up any of the titanium stuff, right?
No,
like
that
that's
doesn't.
still
That
okay.
didn't break.
All right, yeah, that's
But the elbow took a while to heal. I couldn't put any weight on it or anything, and it was in like a brace like this, and we went the orthopedic person that I was seeing for this. He was like, okay, so when we said my arm was healed at that point, they were like, okay, we took x-rays, and this only happens in about 2% of the kids who dislocate their elbows. You have, I don't even know what it's called like hydro something, and where like it was dislocated, like the muscle like on my elbow turned to bone. So
from the break.
From the break. So I can only straighten my arm so much.
And for those not seeing this on iTunes or YouTube,
I think it's...
She straightened it, I don't know, 2/3 of the way that you're supposed to be able
it's
to.
about like 2/3, like I'm doing. So right now I'm in PT and I'm in physical therapy for my leg, and it started out at negative. My leg was bent, stuck at negative 46 degrees, and now it's at, I think, -4. So, and I started physical therapy in September.
While you've been going through all of this, the chemo, the surgeries, the bike accident, the physical therapy, all of that, did you ever think to yourself, why me? Why is this happening to me?
Yeah, I did that a lot, but I don't...
Did you ever feel like it's not fair?
Yeah, I think every kid does, but I just kind of got over it.
How do you get over it? Is it just a matter of time and eventually, or do you have to convince yourself, I'm gonna get over it? It's not fair, but
just like,
I gotta make the best of it.
I think it's a matter of time, and like you just like you think about like the good that came out of it. Like I wouldn't have met a bunch of families. I wouldn't like have known how much little funding childhood cancer gets. Because out of 100% of funding for cancer, childhood cancer gets 4%.
Wow.
So out of every dollar, we get
4 cents. Yeah. And you're a million times more important than any other age group, so it doesn't make sense.
Can you remind me how old your chemo is? How old your chemo?
I got the same chemo that you would have gotten in like the 1970s.
So they haven't made any advances on the chemo that you need.
They've been trying to do clinical trials, but they're just clinical trials. Nothing has been approved. The only advancement that they've made, they would have just cut off my leg.
Oh wow.
In the earlier, but the only new advancement they've made is like rotation plasties and limb salvage surgeries. But the chemos are still the same.
Yeah, I mean the 70s, that's a long time ago. That's when I was born. So think about kids being born now and all the iPhones and all the advances that they have to get to enjoy. That's 4 decades worth of stuff that they get to benefit from, and yet you and your treatment has gotten none of that.
Yeah, they say because only like 2% of kids get cancer, and only 2% of kids that have cancer get my exact cancer. So like the logic behind like the funding is like, why would we waste money on only 2% of kids who get that type of cancer when there's
more kids are affected by a different type of cancer.
Or like you see like during October, like all the breast cancer itself has more funding than all the childhood cancers put together. So because it's like big, but like the like children are our future, but the government just doesn't invest money in it. which doesn't make sense like at all.
No, especially as someone who's been there, done that, like you have. You know, you've won the lottery in reverse. You had the rare type of cancer that you know, doesn't affect a lot of kids. So I think when your mom lets you, you should go buy a lottery ticket. Since you've already won the reverse lottery, you should start, you know, seeing if you can be a millionaire, and then you could donate money to St. Baldrick.
Yeah. So, like, people will be like people, they ask questions like, did you get the good cancer? Like, there's
No such thing.
no good cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, because, like, a lot of kids, they'll, like, there's a couple of cancers that, like, no matter, like, what you do, like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't.
Did you have any of your friends that got that kind?
There were, like, people that we would follow on Instagram where my mom would run into at the hospital. Was it a little girl who had? A little girl who had, it's called DIPG. It's a type of brain tumor, and it's inoperable. You can't get rid of it. There's no cure. So you can, like, I think the longest they've seen is like maybe a person's lived like 5 years, but then they all eventually die.
Yeah.
Nobody, the survival rate's like 0%.
How, for you, how scared did you end up getting?
Because when you hear like cancer, you immediately think like the worst.
Nobody celebrates when they hear it.
So for the survival rate for osteosarcoma is 70%, but when it's already spread to your lungs, it's 30%.
Okay.
So I had like a 30% shot, but I was fine. But then when it comes, but I have a 50% chance that it will come back. So.
So often do you have to go for tests?
Every 3 months I get. So at the 3 months I get a chest CT, but every 6 months I get a bone scan and a chest CT, and they do a chest CT because it normally comes back in the lungs most of the time. And like.
Did you already have to have treatment in your lungs at all?
It was the same thing.
Oh, okay. So whatever it was, it wasn't
cancer.
Isolated for your knee. It was going everywhere. Yeah. It was, okay.
And thankfully, a lot of kids that have it in their lungs, it calcify. So like mine just the mets just like they went away, but a lot of times like when they were like being treated and it was like treated, and it would like calcify and they'd have to do a lung resection, which I didn't have to do thankfully. But I know every time we've met someone where it has, or heard a story, most of the time where it has come back, where they have relapsed, they don't, like, a lot of times they don't make it, because it's just, there are 2 drugs that you would use if it was relapse and then clinical trials, but I'm pretty sure a lot of times if it's like spread like beside your lungs, if it's like spread somewhere else, like they don't make it. Like someone who works at the desk at Children's, when you walk in, her name is Mercedes. She's like the sweetest person, and her son had osteosarcoma, and then he was cancer free for I don't know, like
6 weeks.
How long?
6 weeks.
6 weeks, and then it came back, and then he passed away in like January of 2018, and then there was.
Had he been on the 4th floor with you?
During that time, he was on the 4th floor, but the first treatment he went through, I wasn't there.
Oh, right.
But there's a kid named Elijah there, and he was 16 when he passed away, and I had met him once. He had osteo, and then it had relapsed. I don't know where. All I know is that it went to, I think it was in his lungs, or it was in his lungs and his shoulder, and then it went to his jaw, and then his spine, and then he passed away. And then there was a girl who, I don't know her name. I know that she, what was her name? The one who went to Paris.
Ellen.
Ellen. Ellen, it had relapsed, and then she had passed away. And then Zachary, he had gotten it a while before, like a couple years, but he had relapsed, and then he had passed away. And then like all the cases we see, it relapsed, and then they pass away.
And is it because you can't, once you already get that kind of treatment, you kind of go through the limit of how much a body can take of that kind, and so then they can't give you a different kind of treatment? Or
out of the 3 drugs that I had, I have a lifetime max on the one that affects my heart, which is the doxorubicin. This spine I can never have again because it affected my hearing. Methotrexate is the only one that I can have again, and then if it relapsed, it'd be 2 other drugs, and then it'd be clinical trials. But a lot of times it doesn't work.
Well, I say we make a deal right now where you just don't relapse, and you stay cancer free forever, and then you don't have to worry about all those lifetime stuff and everything.
Like, I know, like there was a YouTuber I'd watch. Her name was Sophia. Australia. She was born in Australia, and she had a YouTube channel all about it, like her journey and everything. And then she passed away on like May 31st of 2018. And a lot of people know her story because she would put it out there like for YouTube and everything. A lot of people followed her, and she had it. She was done, and then she relapsed. And they tried everything. Like they tried chemos. They tried like even radiation, which they don't use radiation in osteosarcoma unless they do surgery and the margins aren't clean, but because it's not effective. So they tried everything, but nothing worked. So for a lot of kids, that's the case. They'll try everything and then nothing works.
How long has it been since you've had any treatments?
I had my 6-month scans January 28th. So it's been about 7 months since I haven't had treatment.
And how are you feeling now? I noticed you came in crutches, not in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I was in a wheelchair, but I've started slowly to use crutches everywhere. Like long distances, like I'm at the mall, because it's a lot of walking. I get tired even with my crutches very easily, because for 9 months I was doing nothing. I was laying in bed because I was too tired. Like I would get out of breath walking to the bathroom. So it was really tiring. So I don't have a lot of energy.
What do you miss the most? Like what energy activity do you miss the most getting to do?
Right now, school, because like I'd be with my friends, but like.
And most 14-year-olds don't think they would miss school.
Yeah,
right? But
I hated school, but I don't like the learning part.
Right, who does? Hello, Lane.
But like I just want to go to school to like see my friends every day. But like activities like sports, like every winter, like since it's like winter, we go ice skating, and I can't ice skate. And then like I can still swim. That's basically the only thing I can do is swim. I can't do anything else. Do you act or sing or do anything like that? No.
No?
She makes slime.
Oh, you're a slime maker. I should have brought you some glue from home. And
I do more arts and crafts.
Okay, all right. So you're using that side of your brain to create. I'm
That's
sure
it.
Mom loves all the slime too, and doesn't get on anything. It's not a pain for her at all.
I don't get it like anywhere. My friends, when they come over, when they play with it, they get it like everywhere, like all over themselves and their clothes.
Because they're not experts like you.
Yeah.
Duh. They can't be trusted. Hey, I got a question for you. This is going to sound weird. What do you know now that you've gone through all this that you wish you would have known when you started, when you got diagnosed?
I wish I would have known, like the little community that is like the childhood cancer community,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of like people who run pages, like they've experienced in their family or they've experienced themselves childhood cancer, or their friends have had cancer. But I wish that, because some of the pages that I followed, they're run by people who didn't have cancer. I wish like I could have known it like them,
Mm-hmm.
to where I didn't have to get it to know, or like when you go through something like that, like it's almost like, you know, those sifters that they use for like flour.
I do, but how do you know what those are?
Because
I'm 40-something years old. You're 14. You should know what that little things.
yeah, those things,
Uh-huh.
it kind of like sifts out like who will stay. Like I had like everyone in the class was like, they were all friends with each other, but like I have about 5 good friends.
Mm-hmm. Who stuck by you
yeah.
through thick and thin.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, so I have about 5, and then like people who were like there, like they just were always there, and it was just like you get to know who like truly cares about you,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's one of the nice things about it. And then all the little things that you take for granted, like going, just like, because we could never, when I was going through treatment, you couldn't plan anything, because like, oh, we were going to the beach, but then like the morning we'd have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So just like going to the beach, or just like little things like that. Like I haven't gone to the beach in about like 2 years.
You went for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but I didn't get to go in the water. We went to the beach for Thanksgiving, but I don't get to go in the water.
So that doesn't count. You don't. If
Yeah.
you can't get in the water, then
Yeah,
you're not
'cause,
really
like,
at the beach.
crutches and sand, they don't mix.
Mhm.
Or like even if I were to like hop down, like it's like even walking in sand is hard.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Like even if like before I got sick, like it would get tiring just like running through sand, because it's like heavy, so it's a lot tiring to go through sand just to like go in the water. So I haven't gone to the beach, but I'll go.
I got just some fun questions that I want to end this time with. You got a little bit more time that I could just ask these?
Yeah.
And how miserable have you been this last hour? Has this just been the worst hour in the last couple? No, just kidding. Thank you in advance for letting me ask these and spending some time with me and the Sport Clips family today, and the St. Baldrick's family. All right, here's the first question. You ready? Which superpower would you most like to have?
Gosh. I would either want to fly
Mm-hmm.
or talk to animals.
Okay, so you're Dr. Doolittle. I talk to animals. All right. Especially dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just know what they're thinking. Other than where you live now,
Yeah.
where else in the world would you most like to live?
Like if I had to go anywhere, I'd want to live like probably like where like in the summer it's like nice and warm, but then in the winter it's like snowing.
Mm-hmm.
So
LA doesn't count then, yeah. Mhm.
no. Or if I couldn't do that, I'd want to live by a beach.
Okay. But actually get in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like have
Mhm.
like a beach house.
All right. I think I might know the answer to this, but just in case, who is the celebrity you'd most like to meet one day?
Wow. Okay.
We're gonna put this out in the universe and
I've
see if it
met-
ends up happening.
I've
You've met some?
I've met some.
Okay.
I've met Nick Jonas. I've met
Nice.
Lucy Hale. The one that I was really excited for. I met Tom Holland, so
Mhm.
the new Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But oh gosh, I'm trying to think through like everyone. I'd probably want to meet like the cast of either like The Office.
Really?
Or like the cast of Stranger Things.
Oh wow. two greats. I like it. You don't want to just meet them. You want to like hang out.
Yeah.
Maybe be in an episode of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. Who's your favorite on there? Elle or?
Yeah, I like Elle, but then I also like. Can't even think. I haven't watched it in a long time because I watched every time the new season comes out, I watch it in a day. But
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
you binge watch.
Lucas,
yeah.
Wait, Lucas? No.
What about Mad Max? I don't know if you liked her in the
I
scene.
don't
No,
know.
yeah.
Wasn't my favorite character.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
So, like when you open like a can of soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Or like when you pour it.
What? I've never had that be an answer. I've never interviewed a 14-year-old before on the podcast, but that is the first answer like that before. Okay. What sound or noise do you hate?
Oh, I hate like when people I hate the sound of chewing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate.
That's why you turn those hearing aids down. Yeah.
I hate like forks against plates.
Okay.
I hate because I hate when like bags are being opened and like it crinkles, or like the like on YouTube, like all the people who do ASMR.
Yes.
I hate it.
Oh yeah.
I hate it so much.
And some people are listening to this and going, "What is ASMR and what is that?"
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It's just trust us. You don't want to go there. Yeah, it's lame.
Awful.
Yeah. I like how I asked you what one sound you hate, and you're like, brrr. I thought you were going to say like the scraping of the walker, and that's why you put the tennis balls on there, like on the cement. All right, I think you've told me this. What profession do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a pediatric nurse,
okay.
Like on the oncology.
Okay, and who are your favorite nurses that you've had?
Don't
leave anybody out because they might get their feelings hurt.
Infusion nurse is Grace. She was the only one that could do my port without me like screaming.
Okay.
Like I don't know what it was, but she just could do it. But like on the 4th floor, not the infusion center, was Kelvin, Lisa, Michelle, Diane. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's about it.
That's everybody? You're sure you haven't left anybody out?
What about your NPs?
Huh? Oh, but the nurse practitioners, Kelsey was one of them. She was really nice.
Mary Beth.
Who's the Mary Beth?
Okay. I got 2 more questions.
Okay.
Number 1, what has been your favorite memory with your mom or dad or your brothers in the last couple of years?
I liked going to the beach for Thanksgiving.
Even though you couldn't get in the water.
And then, but probably my favorite memory was Christmas. We had on Christmas Day I was in the hospital, but so on January 7th, that's when we celebrated Christmas. But on Christmas Day, when we gave each other one present, just because it was Christmas, we were laughing so hard because there was this video of it was on Instagram, and there's this little boy, and he's licking frosting, and then he goes meow, and then we kept laughing. We were laughing so much, and then the nurse walks in, and she's like, "I have a present for you." And then it's a stuffed cat.
No way.
And it's
was she watching on a security camera in your room?
It's one of those ones where you could record your voice in it. I don't know what they're called, like cloud pets or something. And so we recorded in the on the app. So when you press the cat, it would say something. We recorded me saying meow.
And so now that's a Christmas memory, right?
Yeah, we were laughing the whole day.
What did you name the stuffed animal?
I don't know.
You haven't named it
in
yet?
the garage much. I like bags.
Okay, yeah, I bet, yeah, you got your fair. Okay, last question, you ready? Okay, when you're a mom one day, what character trait of your own mother do you hope to be able to represent to your kids?
I want to, like, no matter what, like, I'll have, like, bad day, my mom is just there. Like, I want to, like, be, like, there for my kids like my mom is. Or, like, when she gets mad, she doesn't, like, she gets mad, but then, like, it just kind of cools off really easily. I want, like, that. She really, like, she keeps, like, I know parents do this where they, like, keep drawings, but, like, she showed me this, like, 2 weeks ago when I was, like, 7. I had this little note, and, like, I drew me and her on it when I was, like, 7, and she still has it. She kept it, and so, like, I want to, like, have that, like that
Sentimental.
that sentimental thing with my kids, to where, like, you could just say something and she'll remember it just like that.
That isn't normal. Most parents end up throwing that kind of stuff away. So your mom sounds like quite the woman. You are quite the young woman, and I can't believe an hour's gone by, and you lived up to your name. You were Gabby, and I didn't have to do a lot of talking. So all the people listening are like, thank goodness she was on today, because she did all of the talking, and the stories are amazing. And I think when you go back and listen to this, you're gonna be like, I can't believe this is my life, and I've done all these courageous, brave things. You are a warrior. You represent St. Baldrick so well, and the cause here. So we at Sport Clips are proud of you, proud of your mother and your dad and your brothers, and yeah, even Tommy and your sister, and all for what you're going through. And the people here at St. Baldrick's are amazing. I can say that firsthand now, having visited here. And do you have anything else you want to say before I press the stop button? Anything to your 13,000 Instagram fans and people around the world?
I really hope that you, like, take something from this and just learn that how little childhood cancer gets funded, and how much families go through, and how much it means to families when you just donate a little bit of money. It goes a long way, especially when childhood cancer doesn't have a lot of money. Even if you just spread the word, it helps a bunch. And without, like, anyone donating, we wouldn't even be here. Like, even though we get so little funding, we would have, without, like, everybody donating and helping, we'd have even less. So even though we have not that much, what we do have, we don't take for granted, and we use as much of it as we can for how long it will go.
Beautifully said. And I got to tell you, I've done a lot of these podcasts. I think this is my favorite one. So don't let that go to your head, okay? I want you to be humble, but you're a keeper, and this one's a keeper. So thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Until next time, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, look at that. You did awesome.
Look at that dog.